YSK mortified does not mean horrified. It means embarrassed or humiliated. Why YSK? Many people think that this word means horrified or disgusted, as in, the townspeople were mortified by the murder of the young girl. However, it means humiliated, as in, the man was mortified to find that everyone at the party knew he had lost his job. This is a pretty commonly used word that you should know the meaning of. Horrible, horrific but terrible does not equal terrific. Why? Oh, don't worry. It will lose its way into common usage and people will forget the original meaning. In fact, they'll correct you when you correct them. This is what happened with the word decimate. I always thought mortified meant embarrassed and humiliated. People think it means horrified. The townspeople were mortified by the murder of the young girl. That could mean that the townspeople were embarrassed by such a horrible thing happening in their fine community. I have never seen that word misused like this. Don't think I've ever heard anyone misuse it before. Maybe it's a regional thing to misuse it? Who says that? I've never heard mortified in the context of horrified. To be fair, the townspeople could be mortified at the murder of a young girl if they're the kind of asshole townspeople who care more about its reputation than an actual tragedy. I'm so embarrassed, I wish everyone else was dead. Bender. Interesting. It's a false cognate. In Spanish mortificar is to bother, to torture. Also to punish oneself for sin. The townspeople could be mortified by a murder. The incident may have shattered their "this doesn't happen here" bubble and caused some major embarrassment, humiliation against their old-fashioned prejudice. Isn't it derived from the word mort, death? Thank you. I see this word being misused by everyone I know and all the time in media. Actually, it means for flesh be affected by gangrene or necrosis. This is constantly misused. I can't believe others haven't heard it used incorrectly. I've never encountered somebody using mortified incorrectly. People don't know that. Mort, death, like mortician or mortgage, death pledge. Mortified, so embarrassed that you'd rather be dead. I've seen the misuse so much, it bothers me as well. The first few times I saw it I thought, why are they so embarrassed by that thing? Then realized all these people misusing the word meant horrified, and now I feel like I see this everywhere. It's not super common, but once you notice it, it's easier to spot it when it happens on occasion. The only time I see the word mortified is when I would read the girly magazines at my cousin's house or in a doctor's waiting room. They always use this word when describing a situation, used it so much in every story that I thought it was just some made-up word by corporations. Thank you. I have been seeing this all over Reddit lately and it's been driving me crazy. Thank you. I've recently noticed a huge increase in people using mortified to mean horrified, shocked, and every time it grates on me so much. I just learned this recently and I was mortified about using it incorrectly all these years. Define many. Think I've ever seen this, not so much that it's noticeable as a thing. Did people not take basic English? I hear you. I just think people use this word to combine all of these emotions, so the example you gave us, in that context, would at least suggest collective guilt and embarrassment over the murder happening in their area. Never seen anyone use it to mean horrified. Is there an example? I heard this for the first time like a week ago and now I'm seeing it everywhere. I honestly don't think I've ever heard it misused. Peruse is one that is commonly misused as well. It actually means to look over something very carefully in great detail, not to just casually browse, which is the common usage. Why don't people bother to learn the basics of their own language? Sigh. Who thought it meant horrified? Petrified is the word you're looking for. Language changes over time and isn't concrete. Sorry, but that's just what happens. Thank you. Thank you. Speaking of misuse of words, it always bothers me when someone says addicting. The correct term is addictive. It's not a verb. You can be in the state of running, talking, or swearing, but you cannot be in the state of addicting. Anyone who thinks Mortified Horrified had a terrible middle school English teacher. I already knew that. Stupid people that use big words they don't understand don't know that. Language is basically the culmination of what everyone agrees, and is therefore neither objective nor a constant. Good to know. I see so many people use mortified this way. I thought I was the one using it incorrectly. I'm mortified that I didn't know this. I have never heard of this misconception or mix-up before. Is it common somewhere that people think it means horrified? Raised eyebrow. And belligerent doesn't just mean very, very drunk. It's a specifically aggressive, defensive, angry drunk. She's not belligerent for falling into the pool. Shocked that people didn't know that. Well, now they know. Yes, so many misuse this and it hurts my ears every time. I have seen this misused all the time recently and it drives me crazy. Thank you. OMG, yes, Jesus, thank you. This drives me fucking crazy. It means you wish you were dead. You can be mortified by many things. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is my biggest pet peeve of all time. No shit. I had never seen denied misused until I joined Reddit. Denied refused to give something requested or desired to someone. The inquiry was denied access to intelligence sources. Refused indicate or show that one is not willing to do something. I refuse to answer indicate that one is not willing to accept or grant something offered or requested. She refused a cigarette. I've noticed it being used incorrectly very often and it irks me. Yes, 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 thank you. You shouldn't worry about until we can teach this generation about the actual definition of literally. I mean, literally everyone under 25 does not understand what literally means and it is literally making me lose my mind at this moment. Petrified does. People ask a lot of things involving spelling, grammar, punctuation and other tools that help them articulate their thoughts. It's look pretty be out there these days. I have never heard the word wrong. But I was in the 17 magazine era where people wrote in about their mortifying moments. My mom always uses mortified to mean horrified and it's a pet peeve of mine, but she's almost 70 now, has been doing this my whole life, and at this point it's so ingrained that I feel like it's not worth correcting. Incidentally, I didn't realize it was something that people other than my mom also confused frequently. I didn't know this. How mortifying. Mort means dead, so deadified sounds pretty horrific. Is this commonly misused? I thought this was a pretty straightforward word that everyone knew. Who the fuck thinks that? Who thinks this? Many people think that this word means horrified or disgusted. Yeah, but really? Do they? Very cool info, thanks. I've never learned so much in a series of comments before besides some on our mycology. Who the fuck cares lol? What is up with the language lessons here lately? Languages change over time, and if the general population has decided willingly or not that a word has its meaning changed, then you can't really do much. Either fight it daily or just give up and join the new era. Cute doesn't mean what it used to mean. Also, how would you feel if something called you nice before the 14th century? Some examples from ancient Greek. Try guessing the original meaning of sycophant. Anathema is another interesting one. Myriad was referring to exactly 10k of something. I means horrifically embarrassed. It's a more powerful version of embarrassed, and for some people being embarrassed is horrifying. I don't think it's often misused. I think there are two ways to interpret it that essentially mean the same thing. Are we just posting definitions in here now? Having been playing a lot of Mortal Kombats in arcade long time ago, I always associate that word as being beaten up, bloodied. Do enormity next. Please,